Welcome to the September 17th Board of Selectmen meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is approved minutes from the August 13th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. New business. Consideration of supplemental assessment for farmland removal. Kurt?
Before Kurt starts, can you make an adjustment to the agenda, please? I'm
Oh
so sorry.
God, we can't adjust anything.
I know. Kayla is here, so I want her to she's going to be attached to, oh my gosh, which one is she? Number I. If we can put I up to right after Kurt's done here. So she doesn't have to sit and wait, because her and Kurt have to go back to the office and get these papers knocked out.
Thank you.
All right? Cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
So after B, actually.
My name is Kurt LaBelle. I'm the assessor's agent for the town of Raymond. This agenda item is a supplemental tax for voluntary removal of farmland parcel. So the property owner that purchased the property about a year ago, it was previously enrolled in farmland open space program, and they've decided that they are not going to utilize the parcel for agricultural purposes, so they've requested a removal. We've calculated the penalty to be $581.80 for the removal of 8.8 acres from farmland. It's essentially 5 years back taxes plus interest. That's the prescribed penalty by statute.
What exactly? Can you describe that? I mean, is farmland a certain price compared to regular that they want to make it more residential?
Yeah, so there's a few use programs that the state allows, tree growth, open space, farmland, and working waterfront, where the law will allow you to value property according to that use rather than fair market value or highest and best use. And in the past, the state has made recommendations as to the value to be applied per acre. So orchard land might be $500 per acre.
Okay.
Crop land or pasture land might be $300 an acre, as opposed to the highest and best residential rate, which might be $1,500 an acre. So you just
So
have
this coming back would be then taxed at a residential rate instead of the farmland?
That's correct, yes. Yep.
Thank you.
I'll move the recommendation.
Second. All those in favor? Or actually, wait, actually what we're approving is the supplemental tax certificate, right? Okay, so the motion needs to be for the supplemental tax certificate.
So moved.
Second. Second.
Discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thanks a lot, Kurt.
Thank you. And I believe
Okay.
Dawn has three. Yep. Awesome.
And then you want to go on to the
Yes, so the second item is the
tax commitment?
setting of the tax rate for fiscal year 1920.
Kurt loves this.
Oh, yes.
It's not,
So-
it's not fiscal year 1920, it's fiscal year 2020.
Fiscal year, yes, 2020, yes.
It said 1920.
Well, oh, yeah,
Well, it's a fiscal year
2019, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've, as you're probably well aware, we've had a couple of fairly sizable tax increases that have been warranted to the assessors, primarily the SAD tax, which is up approximately $900,000, and the county tax, which I believe has increased $46,000. Normally, what we've done in this case, town meeting has prescribed an amount of non-tax revenues at town meeting to be applied to reduce the property tax commitment. This year, things were done a little bit differently. The town meeting voters have elected to authorize the selectmen to use up to $300,000 in available fund balance revenues to reduce the tax commitment as they feel is necessary. So in the rate options which were provided in the memo, the first rate option of $13.35 utilizes the maximum amount of fund balance of authorized $300,000, and it represents the minimum tax rate that we can run this year and still cover all the charges, the school, the county, and the municipal budget. That's a 75-cent tax rate increase for this year. It would essentially bring the municipal portion of the tax about $100,000 lower than last year. So the use of the fund balance at the $300,000 rate would go towards negating some of the school and county increase in addition to all of the municipal budget increase. Second option was a $200,000 use of fund balance. That would essentially make a flat tax on the municipal side for essentially no increase to the municipal portion of the tax, and it would allow the school and the county tax to follow through into the property tax rate. That's 10 cents more. That's $13.45 rate. And then we have a third option which utilizes $120,000 of fund balance. It produces a rate of $13.52. It's a lower amount, but I believe that there's going to be perhaps a request from the town meeting to appropriate more fund balance in the future for a LED streetlight project. So it's something that keeps that in mind, that future use of fund balance. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I can answer any questions, hopefully, if anybody has any. Or I'll open it up to discussion. It's a little different, so you'd basically be authorizing a amount of fund balance which corresponds to a particular tax rate. All the rate choices utilize the minimum overlay that we could run with those rates.
Don, what is your? Well, I think from a philosophical standpoint, the charge of the Board of Selectmen as fiduciaries of the town of Raymond is to look after primarily the financial health and well-being of the town. And so obviously we are the taxing entity, so we roll in the county and the school. Now they've already factored in their intergovernmental revenues, their reserves. They've come to their final budgets. To me, I would do an option that flattens the tax rate for the town of Raymond portion of the budget, and also keeps in mind that we have our own capital needs and expenditures upcoming. So from my way of thinking, it would be the second or the third one. I know that the selectmen like to be as aggressive as they can be to keep the taxes as low as they possibly can, so I'd probably go for the middle one.
We do keep the taxes as low as we can, but then we get whacked by the school and whacked by the county.
This is representing.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
it's
your
so
job
frustrating.
is to look after the town finances.
I mean,
Control the controllables, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Option 2 looks at, it says, okay, we've maintained the municipal budget. The increase you're seeing is due to the other two variables.
Right.
The only other thing, and I had said, well, look at option 3 also, because we know we've got $80,000 for the streetlights that's coming in there. So the question is, you've got one or two things you can look at there. One is you say, okay, if we go with option 2, then when we, then if the LED lights get approved by the special town meeting, that's going to eat a little bit more into surplus, which, the audit hasn't been finished, so we don't know if that there may be some freeboard in there too.
I believe there will be, but I mean, traditionally I have an estimate if you want to hear it. I think that the I think it was about $150,000 $378,000,
It would increase.
then it would increase. But traditionally, we do use that for the coming budget cycle.
Right.
I mean, that's what we normally would use it for. It's in here somewhere.
I don't think option one's there.
It's probably close enough. That's order of magnitude where it's
Yeah.
going to be.
I think so.
But I mean,
Yeah.
and what do we have for projections for increase in property values for new construction for next year? Do we have a handle on that yet?
No. Typically,
178,000.
we would wait and see what's permitted over the course of the fall, and then we have some idea. I will say that many of the more substantial residential projects that are underway are in the early stages, so I anticipate us picking up good value in the next year or two as
Yeah.
those larger projects are completed.
Now, this increase is mitigated significantly by the robust construction environment and the fact that, relatively speaking, from that standpoint, things are in a strong growth mode, booming. This could be, significantly worse if that weren't the case. And so this is, significant numbers.
She said 478, right?
478, and then 317 of that is attributable to 6/30, 2018, and about 160 are attributable to 6/30/19. But the audit isn't done yet, but
Yeah.
it's pretty close.
Okay. Mm.
Thoughts?
What does Kurt recommend?
Well,
He hates doing this
One
because
of
we
three.
get him.
One
No,
of
but
three.
we get him good on this. I'm not trying to do that to you. I'm just trying to see what you're.
yeah, I tend to fall in line with Don's thinking that the school and the county have sources of revenue that are not tax related, just like the municipality does, revenue sharing, use of fund balance and those things. They've utilized those things to the extent they feel necessary, and what we're left with is the property tax increase. It was approved by the voters. I would go with the second option.
I like that.
It's $70,000 less than
Yeah.
you used last year. It doesn't utilize the full amount, and it wipes out the municipal budget.
But it gives us that buffer, knowing that we're probably gonna have a $70,000 hit, a $76,000 hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
at the, when the budget finishes out, we're pretty close to using that full 300.
That's correct.
So, do you want a motion for option 2? Do you guys like option 2?
Yeah. I'd rather motion the number.
Yeah.
Oh.
You move the number.
I would move that we adjust the mill rate to 13.45
45.
for the ensuing tax year.
Second.
Second.
That's 2 seconds.
He didn't hear me. I didn't say very loud. That's fine.
Second.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not-
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried at the 1345.
1345.
Okay, so the request was to move item I up to
Yeah.
now, so that,
That was easy for you, Kurt.
I know, that's good.
we didn't beat you up as bad as
No.
last year.
So we are going to leave the warrants at this rate with Kathy.
Okay.
And if the board could, if they have time to circle in through the town office tomorrow to sign the warrants, then we'll issue the warrant out to Sue Carr for collection.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Consideration of communication strategy.
What page are we on?
It's page 2 of the notes, but
All right.
let's see, wait a minute.
I have my big notebook.
PDF open, Marshall. If you click on the index, it will take you there.
I know.
I'm not
I
trying to do
can.
that because I moved it into
Oh,
Okay.
See, you got all the
Ready?
Yep,
Ground is-
All right.
you're on.
I got a few down.
Okay, ready,
I
Sam?
think it's time.
Ready?
Ready.
I just shushed them. Okay, I had brought up to the board at a previous meeting, a communications person. Because one of the biggest gripes we hear in this town is that the communication's not getting out there. People are still filling out their surveys, and the big one is the Eagle, that the people are choosing the most as far as getting their news. So what I'm bringing to the board tonight is a proposal for us to take 2 pages of the Wyndham Eagle for Raymond News. The Wyndham Eagle will set it up, print it, and get it to everybody in the town of Raymond. What I was looking for is a communications person to do this. This person would be the communications person for these articles, so they would submit them in to them. But I also want somebody to be able to update the town webpage on things like recreation. Like when you look up like Raymond basketball, you can't find out who's who on there. You can't find the Lions Club. And people need to have one source of information. So this person would be, we've talked to somebody and we went a different route. This person would do the newspaper articles, work with the Wyndham Eagle, start updating the town webpage as far as connections and resources, send out the newsletter. So pretty much the articles that are going to be in the newspaper will be going in like 4 different places. The newspaper, the town newsletter, the Facebook page, and the town website. So it's going to be one set of information for different places. And the person that we have chose to do this, no, not you.
No, are you going to make the announcement?
Yeah, Kayla.
That's
Kayla
right, you
is
do that.
has agreed to do this position. She's working part-time now, and she is going to take on another, we're thinking like maybe 8 to 10 hours to do it. She can do it from home. She can do it from the office. She knows the ins and outs of the town. She knows the deadlines. She is assistant secretary, vice president of the PTO, which is great because that is a huge connection. It's getting that news out there and getting her to start communicating. God, sorry, I couldn't think of the other word.
And she'd be a great spokesperson for the town in this media, not an oral spokesperson, but an external media person. She's the most optimistic person and happy person that I know, and she would project, I think, a very positive image of our town. And so I'm really excited about this and working with Kayla.
Well, let me add something on. To do 2 pages in the Wyndham Eagle is $400 a page. So it's going to be $800. We're going to do it once a month. The 3rd week, if it works out with the Wyndham Eagle. And we're paying now to put notices in there for planning board meetings, public hearings, whatever. Those will be included on those pages to help cut back that cost.
And so when you look at the cost on an annualized basis of the labor piece and the piece for the Eagle, for the actual space, less the avoided cost of the advertising, we're in, I won't say significantly, but less than what we were years ago with the Roadrunner.
To print, it'd be like $9,600.
Yeah, we're less than the Roadrunner.
It's not 9,600 because you don't have,
To print it, I said.
yeah, I know,
Oh.
but you're looking at a 12 month. You're not going to do it for 12 months this year. We're already 3 months into the year, so you're only 9 months this year.
Right. But what
B was out of line with A.
Huh?
Sorry. Well, no, this for a year is what I'm thinking.
I
Yes.
understand
It's
that,
gonna
but
take us another
but we're
month to
looking
get
at,
the
we're
whole
looking at, what do we, where our costs for this year, so.
Yes. Oh, because you're ending at, I'm ending at December, but you don't end at December. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. 'cause
All
we
right,
go- it's
my
got-
bad.
Yeah, you're talking about October through June.
Yep.
My issue on this all the way along is I love the idea. I think it can go as long as we have enough meat to put in the paper.
That's going to be a problem. We think there's going to be too much meat to put
Unless
in
you're
this paper
coming
for
up with
2
28
pages.
font on everything, you
No, I think I'm agreeing with Teresa. I think we're going to have the opposite problem, is going to be taking the Roadrunner, and admittedly, there was some stuff in there that didn't need to be there, but at its peak, it ran to 20 pages. So two pages is not a
Filled
problem.
very easily.
Well, and we gotta plan it a month ahead. So you've got basketball season coming for rec. You probably have fundraisers for the school. You have plays that are going on. You got town stuff that's going on.
Sign-ups for everything.
Exactly. There's so much stuff, and Kayla's going to be the one. So people, if they want to put anything, would be putting the requests into Kayla. She's the one that's going to have to figure out what needs to go in there. And then if she does have to put it in, she can put links in there. There's the library, there's the church, there's age friendly, there's so many things that we
This
can
is
put
all
in
of
there.
our external, social media as well. Mm-hmm. So we're not talking just this. We're talking, a lot of the younger people are social media is the thing. Some older people too. But one of the things with the Roadrunner that was very disappointing was that many people would see it, toss it. But I think the fact that it's embedded in the Eagle gives it a better chance of not getting tossed. Getting, a wider distribution of news and information out about our town. People in Wyndham will see it.
They're delivering
Whether they
it.
want to see it or not, they'll see it. So I think it's a good thing, and will give us a wider distribution at a slightly lesser cost. And we're going to have to, as Marshall suggests, though, we're going to have to, we have the opposite problem, I think, but we're going to have to get this to be, high quality, condensed information that's highly readable and is something that people look forward to, not something that they want to throw away.
Well, let me just throw it right out to you, Kayla. Are you comfortable that you can get basketball schedules and activities from the school? Because that's been a problem for us.
Yes, I am the vice president of the PTO, and as a parent with children in the schools right now, I get all of the handouts, flyers anyway already.
Which is huge.
Well, I understand that,
Well, but
but I
you
don't
can
want Chris coming in and saying, no, you can't do that.
But it's not Raymond, it's rec basketball, so it's not the school that's doing it, it's somebody totally
All
different.
right, okay,
Yeah.
as long as
So-
we can do it, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, again, I love the idea, it's just,
Yeah,
if we can
this-
get enough information, that's
Yeah,
fine.
the school calendar's public. I don't need their permission to
Yeah, once
Okay.
it's
post things on
Yeah.
it.
And Kayla's up to speed, and I would say
Oh, I'm sure she
all of the issues that will
right.
confront her, yeah.
Skiing will be coming up for, winter, you can get a hold of the person
Yeah.
in charge of that.
Yeah,
so-
I just got that flyer at the open house
Oh,
last week.
Yeah.
so-
see there, you good.
Yep.
She's got all the connections.
And we know Kayla,
Yeah,
too.
yes.
That's another great
Yeah.
thing.
What are you looking for,
Isn't it,
Teresa?
Kayla?
I'm looking for a motion for this to go forward, for her to do it.
Let's do it.
And just so everybody understands, it does mean that necessarily we'll have we'll be over budget on salaries slightly. We'll be over budget on advertising and things like that.
Well, we
which
knew
is-
that going in.
Yeah, okay, just so that,
Yep.
We know it.
so.
And then next year we'll get it-
Everybody knows above board, because
Yeah.
when all of a sudden, the reports come out and say, well, why are we over on that? Just
We
so
have to
you-
think about the future, and
Yeah,
this
oh,
is- this is
I'm
it.
not disputing that, I'm just
Yep.
making, so that people will recognize that if we are over in those areas, that's why we're over in those areas.
And then we can put it in next year's, start working it
Yeah,
in the
it'll
budget.
That'll be part of the
next
budget
year's
process.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so,
So what
was,
exactly is the motion?
Oh, we're still talking this
We haven't
through.
made one yet.
So I'll make a motion.
Oh, let's make it, yeah.
I make a motion to have Kayla do our communications coordinator person starting October with once a month articles in the Wyndham Eagle, and she said that she would work with the Wyndham Eagle too to get set up deadlines and stuff like that. That's not part of the motion, take that out.
let's get the motion clean.
I know, I'm
Well, I'll
just,
read it back once it finishes
But
rattling.
Use
what
her
I-
la-
if
use her
you want my
last name in the
suggestion-
motion.
If you want my suggestion on the motion, it would be to create the communications position in the communications program.
you could have made that, that's great, I'll second that.
I'll make the motion. Ralph asked me to make that motion, so I'll make that motion.
It's been seconded by Teresa.
Yes.
There.
Here, I
Discussion.
hear you go, the motion. All right, do
All those in favor? Opposed?
Okay.
Motion is carried.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
Thank
I
you,
would-
I would
Kayla.
like to ask that if it gets too much, then please let somebody know,
I will,
okay?
yes.
I've agreed to support her on that.
That's a downer.
And not if it gets too much, when it gets too much.
And-
As your
and-
kids get older and
Your
years
vaccination,
pass,
yep.
things are gonna change.
Yep,
You know,
yep,
and this is a great thing for the town, so it's,
Yes.
It is.
it's,
It is.
may seem to be
Yeah,
a
it is.
small piece, but it's an important piece, I think.
Yep.
I agree.
So,
She said she'd reach out to when if it gets crazy and
Okay.
get going, and everybody's offered to help up, and yeah, good. Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kayla.
guys.
Item C, consideration of resolution pertaining to the non-smoking on town property. Don?
Well, we've gone back and forth, ordinance resolutions. We have a draft resolution. Has everybody had a chance to review that?
Yes.
Does everybody like it?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like me to read it?
No.
No?
No, the whole thing.
It'll be-
Basically, what we say here is, this is the use of tobacco and tobacco products are a bad thing, particularly for young people at our facilities, and that the position of the town is that, we find it to be harmful, and it's something that's prohibited on our grounds.
If you guys have probably seen the news. I mean, the way the CDC is cracking down on the vaping, there's a lot going down with that right now. So any more that we can do to help.
so does
Stop
that have
it.
that in there as well? Is it smoking, vaping
That's what.
together? Because everything now, it
Oh,
doesn't
the
say
electronic
just
smoking
smoking, it
devices.
says vaping, and then it even
It
adds
does.
marijuana
It's
into
in
it.
there.
Every
And this-
hotel and
Yeah,
all
but
that.
it says electronic
Electronic
smoking.
smoking devices.
Okay, but you got people that are gonna say it's technically not electronic, it's vaping, even though it is the same thing. I'd cover any kind of form.
I
there.
think it covers it, and this qualifies us to be part of the Cumberland County Consortium of towns that are taking like action, and so the signage will be provided through a grant. And so once the resolution is in place, we're on board with the other towns, and I don't know of a town that has said no yet, and so we'll be part of that group, and it will be consistent countywide, if not eventually statewide, in the way that towns view these activities on their grounds.
Okay. All right, so,
Would we like
a
to
mo-
get a motion to
a motion to
accept the
accept-
resolution?
there you go, what Ralph said, Jeff.
I'll
Motion to
second.
accept. Thank you.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
All
Okay,
right,
consideration of warrant for special town meeting on October 8th, at 6 p.m. Don?
Okay, so we have a proposed warrant article to see if the town will vote to appropriate monies not to exceed $78,000 from undesignated fund balance in Pren's surplus to replace the leased Central Main Power streetlights with high-efficiency light emitting diode in Pren's LED town-owned streetlights. The Select Board recommends, does not recommend Article 2. The Budget Finance Committee recommends, does not recommend Article 2. So that's what we have for a warrant article. October 8th, I think we have now finally got a Budget Committee meeting scheduled for next Tuesday at 7. So we'll get a Budget Finance Committee recommendation. But that is the special town meeting warrant, and that's the money that was being discussed earlier in context of the tax rate setting.
Okay, so there's
Should it
actually,
be approved?
so there's actually two actions that we have to take. The first is to authorize the special town meeting, and then the second is to make a recommendation on the article.
Is there a 30-day waiting period on from one to the other?
No,
No.
Okay.
and it could all be in one motion if you wanted it to be.
I think by the time this hopefully eventually gets approved on the 8th, I don't think we'll be the last town, but I know Wyndham has already approved. I believe that Standish is a November vote, Quorum's already approved, so we'll be the third town in our group to approve it. We're trying to stay with the pack to get the benefit of joint pricing. There are various consortiums and groups. Casco's now joined in with another group, Cape Elizabeth and Yarmouth and some other places like that, but our group is Standish, Gorham, Wyndham, Raymond.
all right, motion to accept the special town meeting warrant.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, it's found that. Now, to make a recommendation on Article 2, to see if the town will vote to appropriate monies not to exceed $78,000 from the undesignated fund balance surplus to replace the leased central main power streetlights with high-efficiency light-emitting diode LED town-owned streetlights.
Move to recommend.
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Great.
Okay, who's going to do the quitclaim deeds?
I can,
You want them?
yes.
5 of them.
All right. Motion, it's a motion to accept the quitclaim deed of, right, okay. All right, I have a motion to accept the quitclaim deed of James Carroll, book 34140, page 337, and book 35872, page 258.
Didn't realize
Second.
we had a Chinese guy.
Oh, you moved it, it's been seconded by Lonnie.
Yeah.
Discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? None. Motion is carried.
All right. Motion to accept quitclaim deed of Charles B. Knight, book 33,358, page 187, book 34,141, page 31.
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Motion to accept quitclaim deed of Charles B. Knight Jr. and Robin Knight, book 35,065, page 37.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Can we hold on for a second?
Oh.
What was the amount on that one?
It's not saying.
That was the one that
There's a
was,
page.
that was the one that was, it had to be redone because the original
Yes.
didn't have both names on it.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. All in favor? We did that one? All right.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Motion to accept quitclaim deed of, okay, Roger Y.D.?
Yeah.
Okay. And Selena M. LeBranch?
Yeah, both of them are LaBranch.
Oh, LeBranch, I didn't see his up here, I'm sorry. So Roger LeBranch and Selena LeBranch. Book 32,517, page 48. Book 33,358, page 209. Book 34,141, page 28.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Last one. Motion to accept quitclaim deed of Beth Ann Hurd and George
Shivari.
Shivari. Okay, just quite a few. Book 29,838, page 42. Book 32,517, page 114. Book 35,065, page 30. Book 30,940, page 156. Book 33,358, page 179. Book 35,913, page 202. Book 31,729, page 73. Book 34,141, page 16.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
All right.
So the important thing here, all taxes, interest, penalties, and so forth, paid in full, conveyance to a prior owner.
Sue Carr is just killing it. She really
Yeah,
is.
she's doing a good job.
She's doing great.
Yes, she is.
All right. Agenda.
Okay, next item is discussion of remote meeting participation by board members and consideration of change in the SelectBoard bylaws. This kind of came to light when requests came in for remote attendance at meetings, and in doing some research, it's been found out that the legislature actually has considered this a couple times and punted on it and not done anything on it. And the fact is, they're not saying it's approved, they're not saying it's disapproved, but by not saying it's approved, they more or less it's saying, you know, you're kind of where you are. In looking at the bylaws that the select board had, we had actually allowed it, so my recommendation is until that gets resolved back through the legislature, that we take that out of as an allowed attendance method here, so that we're, and with the hopes that that stays consistent across all the boards in the town.
I agree with you. I think we ought to leave it as is.
No, take
That's
it out.
disagree.
That would be disagreeing with me. What I'm suggesting is a change to remove the allowance of that. So that attendance can only be by being personally at the meeting.
See, there was a meeting a while back, well, a couple years back when Mike was on here, that I had strep and we were doing voting and I was on my couch voting, is what it is. I think there's that and there's one other exception. I'm gonna put it out there. There's an individual that's gonna be leaving for 6 months. That's on one of the committees and still wants to be on the board and do it remotely. And I've actually had several phone calls, to be honest. So apparently this is being talked about outside of the meetings. And the question is, how can that be? If you're going to commit to a meeting, commit to it. Be there. You're not leaving for 6 months by choice. You know, if somebody's got work, that's fine. I get that. But 6 months through budget season is tough to be going the entire time.
That's all well and good. But what we have here is a request to change the selectmen's meeting, and only selectmen's meeting. We're not reaching out any further. And I agree with this change. I think it needs to happen.
Yeah, and, each board essentially has to do it, but,
Right.
there's a couple of danger items that I see in remote access, and they're technology related. You have a certain quorum that's required to hold a meeting. And if the quorum is just met by someone that comes in from remote, and something happens to the feed during that meeting, is the quorum now violated? Right. And so can the meeting continue? Not only that, but the way that they would be coming in there, there's an inherent delay between there, and you're making it very difficult for other people at the meeting to properly interface and whatnot. So it comes down to almost a best practices scenario.
If you have a quorum present, though, can you have another member
If you-
outside that quorum? You know, the quorum
You
is.
need
I agree with
you
the
need a
quorum.
minimum. You need a minimum to create the quorum. If you started with a quorum and somebody leaves and you no longer have a quorum, and someone calls a quorum, that
Yes.
meeting cannot conduct any further business.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's
As long
Robert.
as the
That's
quorum
Robert's
is there,
rules.
yeah,
As long as the quorum is there, the meeting can begin.
yes.
If someone leaves and you no longer have a quorum, and someone calls a quorum under Roberts, now the meeting has to cease because you cannot conduct business.
Okay, under those circumstances, I agree.
Agree with what?
That if there is a quorum, and some additional member calls in for remote with an opinion or with a discussion issue or whatever,
So meeting
Then
quorum
it's
has nothing
okay.
to do with.
You would allow that to
I
happen?
would allow that to happen.
I have
But
a
if
problem.
there is no quorum, he cannot call in to make a quorum, he or she.
But I have a problem when I know this is just reflects on the select board. I get that. But if this is the time to talk about it, I have a problem if all the selectmen are sitting here, all the budget finance are sitting here, and all the people are sitting there in the audience coming to these things because they've been told to do it. And I've got somebody sitting on remote because they chose to go somewhere else for 6 months. Got a big problem with that. Big problem with that. So that's just my 2 cents. This is the time we're talking about it, and I get what you're saying.
Well, the other problem I have with this concept is that the people that elected me to sit here expect me to sit here. They don't
Exactly.
expect me to go to Arizona
No,
or
exactly.
Florida or wherever it is. Right, Wendy? Thank you.
And there are people that are willing to sit on here to do it. And if
Yes,
you
there
want
are.
to do it, then
You're taking it away from somebody that had an interest in it.
so now kicking it back to R again, I want to make a motion to remove this from the bylaws as far as the select board goes.
All you do is you make your motion to revise the bylaws as printed.
Right.
Right.
Oh my gosh, look at Lonnie even down there laughing.
He's true though, he's on his game. Smart man.
I just whispered to him, I said, Rolf's the parliamentarian now. He's down here telling him what parliamentary rules are.
So is that the motion that you made?
It is.
Is there a second?
Just put my name
Yes,
behind it,
second.
please.
Okay, what are we're moving,
We are moving to
The revision.
revise
This is
the
parliamentarian after my
bylaws
name.
to remove that.
okay.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Rolf is a very technical person. I get why he does it because he holds me to task
I know,
on
I'm on the
things.
fence with it as well, but it's gonna be.
Okay.
He's there, you know.
Next
Drove him
is,
next,
next
but I
item
wasn't
is
sure.
That means we can go to
consideration of board representatives on committees and boards. Select board. So, we have,
Right here, these ones, beautification technology.
so we've got it, there's a number of boards and things that exist in there, and in their things, they ask for a representative from the select board to be an ex officio member of their boards. And so currently, we haven't really looked at this we didn't look at it last year, so.
Yeah, usually we do it every year.
Yeah, so, it should be kind of each year that we look at that, and so, beautification committee, Teresa was.
My apologies, I didn't even realize I was on the beautification committee, so my apologies to that group. I so apologize. But
Do you wish to keep that, or do you want?
I can, but I'd also like to take the library from Lonnie if he can't do it.
Yeah, I definitely would give up the library. I don't give them nearly the attention they need.
I mean, that's fine.
And I could do beautification. I'm sorry, I totally dropped the ball on that one.
Technology,
gonna
Lonnie,
have to
you're
bring
still
all
on
hot
that.
chocolates I
I
did
think
last year.
that still has some good value for you to stay there.
Yep.
Veterans Memorial Park Committee, Sam.
Sure.
I'll
Yeah.
let you stay with that. Raymond Rec Board.
If you don't mind, Lonnie, I'd like to take that one.
The Raymond Rec?
Right.
Go for it. Are you good with the veterans?
Yeah.
You good with that?
The reason I want to take rec is because I'll also stay on Tassel Top, and we may be looking at both of those.
I have
together.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
The Library Board, Teresa, you want to?
Yep, let me know on that one.
MWAC. Currently, it's Mark Genrin with Don as an alternate. Any changes on that? Or?
Well, I don't know, Lonnie may know about Mark's schedule, but, between us, we cover it. Mark, sometimes is not here during some meetings, but when he's not, I've been able to cover it, so I think he likes doing it.
I know he loves doing it, but he was diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
So he is up and down. Right now he's doing fantastic.
Sorry, Lon.
Yeah, so there is that variable, but maybe if we can bring that up at the next meeting and I can converse with him and find out what he feels and how he feels, and then maybe we want to see about having someone a second if he can't make it due to, it's not that he can't make it because he's going to Florida, he can't make it because he's...
Right, yeah. No, I mean, because Don's...
And
No,
I
I
think he
mean,
does
he
really
also-
good with it too. I think he does well with it.
Yeah, Mark always tells me when he's not able to come, and
Perfect.
so I had been able to cover every meeting that he couldn't come to. So I'm happy to continue doing that,
You can do that.
but maybe
I don't see your name.
checking with him to see how he feels is the way to go. Yeah.
100%.
You could do, I can
Yep,
do
and I'll
that.
follow back up with the committee, about the,
So-
select
So
board.
we'll keep MWAC as it is right now. Tassel Top, Marshall, you want to stay there. GP Cog, we're not there anymore, so we don't need one there. Conservation Committee, did they want someone, and we just never appointed
That's
someone?
just that I could see, no one's ever been appointed to them. They didn't meet all of last year.
Okay.
So,
Well, I guess, we should reach out to them and see if they want someone to be there, and then if they do, then we can put somebody there. Cemetery Committee, there's no longer a Cemetery Committee?
No.
John Rand is gone forever.
All right,
No, it's conservation.
so can I have a motion to
Except
carry the
the,
appointments as amended?
Make a
So
motion to.
moved.
Yep, second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Let's see. Investigate recreational opportunities for the town of Raymond. Teresa.
My handy dandy notes again. Like I did. Hey, they work out pretty good. Okay, I'm bringing another idea. Actually, it wasn't mine originally. I stole it from Dawn and Nathan, but I'm running with it.
It was Nathan originally. We'll give credit where credit's due.
There you go. Dawn told me to run with it, so I
Is
ran
Nathan
with
still
it.
in town now? Or?
He is. Yeah.
But I think but to be fair, it's something that it's not a new idea. It's come
It's been
around several times.
Okay. The idea is to get a Parks and Rec director, is what it is. And by this person, I've been checking on the Standage site and I've been checking on Naples. Naples, on their budget, really kind of does close to what I'm possibly looking to push on this. You'd have one person that would be running the Parks and Recreation, and it's broken down into different categories. They would be in charge of Tasseltop, Jordan Bay, Crescent Beach. Then they would also be in charge of Mill Street Park, Tasseltop Park. Tasseltop Park is just my term of Tasseltop that we've been looking. One of the things Marshall mentioned at the last meeting, that Tasseltop is going to be doing some different things. We have that great big climbing unit that every year in our budget we put $35,000. We put the smaller unit down at Mill Street in that back corner. For anybody that's been down there knows that it's swamp, and we just can't get that playground unit in there and waste that money. And when we're tired of putting dirt in the swamp, so Nathan's going to make it look nice. So we started checking some other areas. Tasseltop Park it's gorgeous. It's flat. It's leased to the town of Raymond, and then the Raymond oversees it. And they've got all kinds of trails in there. And one of the things that has to happen is the beach can be closed off, but the access to the trails has got to be open all year long to people. That's what it is. That's what the state of Maine says. So as you pull in and off to the right, I want to put that big climbing unit there, and maybe some picnic tables for picnic areas. But the state of Maine will, you can get grants for up to 50% of whatever you donate. So if you donate $50,000, it's up to $50,000 for them. That's something we're working on. We're getting an architect in to design this because that's what they highly recommended to do. The other things the Parks and Recreation person would do would be one person in this town for people to go to for rec. You got soccer, basketball, ski program, baseball, softball. All those people would be underneath one person.
Right.
And then that way where, when Kayla's doing her articles, guess what? Everybody will be turning them into that person, and then they can turn it in. The other thing that the Parks and Recs director can be doing is adding more stuff in. Age-friendly adult rec programs like the adult basketball. They can be working on the swimming programs. Hopefully if we get the school back or whenever, you can do movies on the back of, family night movies on the back of Jordan Small School that these people, snowshoeing. Bus trips, I think the library does now to, is it Camden, where all those lights are? Booth Bay, anyways, where all the lights are at Christmas time. Okay, Botanical Gardens. The other thing they can do is they can work with the school, the library, age-friendly, PTO. There is so many things. And on the Naples budget, they literally have it all broken out, what can be done. So I am proposing that we take what's there now at Tasseltop and not just make it the Tasseltop Beach anymore, but we incorporate it into the bigger One Raymond concept to utilize somebody overseeing these more, is what I'm
not sure that's what you really want to do.
Yeah, it is.
I think I think you're jumping
Right.
one
This is
step
my
ahead.
end goal.
Right. Okay, but I think
There's a
the
step
first
we gotta
the
take
first step
first.
is
Right.
to let's sit there. Let's get a group together that's going to be able to define what that is. Put the whole thing together, because if you just someone listening to what you just said there says, "Oh, Raymond Rec just went away." Well,
No, it did not.
Well, you're saying this person, all those things fall under them.
Well, no,
And so, but that's not what you meant. I know that's not what you.
right, but my goal is to have this. The next step was what would be what I'm going to get from you guys is what is the first step? The first step would be put together a committee to start doing this. That's what I'm suggesting.
Teresa's, I think, shared her overarching vision of where she
Right.
thinks it may go, but I thought the notion was on a step-by-step, it was to study
Right,
this.
that's what I mean, so now
So
we
it's a
could.
study. I
Right.
get that, this is typical for most towns, this is a typical
Right.
structure. But so what you want to do is have a study over the winter?
Yeah, because I think, you know, you want to get all these, you know, the stakeholders
Together.
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
And let's, how do we put something together
Yeah.
that's gonna work across
All these platforms or
these
some of these platforms?
well, if I came to you with just that, you guys would have looked at me and said, where do you want to go with this? So I gave you the end thing here, now let's work back and say, okay,
Right.
let's pull all these people in, let's pull H-Friendly, let's pull, you know, all the people that are part of this, and say, okay, let's sit down and get a committee together. And I talked to somebody earlier tonight to ask if they want to be on this kind of a
So-
committee, because I knew we would be looking to do something like
So,
that.
so as a part of this, should we run an advertisement? Maybe we should have an article in our, you know, newsletter, for lack of a better word, to see if people are interested in serving on a committee like this? Would that be something to do?
I think you have enough people just on this alone. Pull the rec people, pull the H-Friendly.
Pull the people who are already serving.
I would, because these are all the people that are gonna be
yeah.
involved in it.
Well,
And
I-
anybody
I-
else that wants to get
yeah,
on.
Yeah, I don't think it's inappropriate to, you know, to broadcast
Mm-hmm.
it out too, because, you know, you throw out.
So
the
invite
net
somebody from the different groups and then maybe put out a solicitation for a citizen representative too?
Or, you know,
I'm asking, I don't know.
I think,
Well,
I think we're going too fast with that even. I think what I would like to see happen, and I agree with the end result. There's no doubt in my mind that it should be under one umbrella somewhere. But I think we need to give the individual groups an opportunity to say what they'd like to see. And I think that Tasseltop has an opinion. I think that H-Friendly definitely has an
I
opinion.
think that's what we just said though, right?
Okay, but we
Yeah.
need to get those groups together first
Well, that's
before we open it up.
But that's why I said, and that's why I said to him, I said, don't open it up. Because
Right.
if you don't include these people, you're gonna step on some toes and you're gonna be like, no, these are the people that know the programs, know how we can pull it together
Right.
better and work it. So you take everybody that would be a part of this and pull them in, is what that first step
Start
would
with
be.
H-Friendly, Raymond Rec, Tasseltop, and who else?
Well, the Raymond Rec would be all like the rec people.
Yeah,
And-
but this
and
is a
yeah.
representative.
The library.
Who's the representative for Raymond Rec when it comes to budget time? I mean, Lee Walker did it last time, but somebody else did it, somebody else did
As
it.
far as I know, she's
Oh,
still.
the guy,
Clark.
that's baseball, that's
It's
somebody else,
baseball.
yeah.
All
I
right,
think
so-
they all kind of have their own
So
thing.
should we,
that's fine,
well, yeah, but you've got the overarching Raymond Rec.
right.
Raymond Rec
Go
would be
ahead, Don.
skiing.
so, along with what Marshall's saying, so, over the winter, should we reach out? I mean, I'm saying we, meaning maybe Teresa and Dawn, to these groups?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and meet with them and
Yeah.
talk with them? Should we do
Well,
that?
invite them to a little bull session and see if they have an interest in it. They
Yeah,
decide
and
not
and
to
by the way,
come,
this
it's
is
fine.
something that's occurred at least twice
Yeah.
before since I've been here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, are you good with that?
Yeah. No, but I know if I would have came to you and said, this is what I want to do, you guys would have said, well, where do you want to go with this? Well, I gave you where I want to go with
That's
it.
fine.
And you
That's
know me when
fine.
I get an idea
But we're
in my
gonna
head
take
too.
baby steps here.
No, and I'm fine with that baby steps. I'm so fine with the baby steps. But
I
this
will
is,
say that Tasseltop has a board meeting Monday night, or Tuesday night, I think, on the 1st, and this will be a topic of discussion at that. And I will tell you that the chairman of the Tasseltop board has agreed that we can open up discussions.
I also think that as we progress into these new roles, especially the communication role,
Right.
we need to establish SOPs.
Right.
We need to establish, this is what you need to do each week or each month,
Mm-hmm.
or, and kind of a checklist, and again, it's more of an SOP that she's doing, whoever is following how the town wants it, as well as encompassing everything within the town, not just
Right.
bits and pieces that particular person likes to do.
Which is where it
You
is
know.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, and because I'm looking at this right now, Mill Street, there is not anybody down there really supervising this except for Nathan and Don McClellan. He goes down there, cleans it up and stuff like that. Tasseltop is covered, but you've got Crescent Beach, you've got Jordan Bay Beach, which is 302 there. Again, it's when Nathan and his crew can get by there to do it. And one of the things Kayla's going to do is make sure all these rec people are. Actually, I just thought the Lions Club too, because I know that they would want to get in on that too. The rec, trying to make sure that people have access, and instead of all of a sudden everybody's signing up at the last minute or late and still getting their kids in because there's not that accurate
But
information.
that goes to a designated town employee, I believe, known
No,
as a recreation director,
no.
that would oversee all that. I don't think we can oversee this all with a committee. I think we're gonna.
No, the committees is there to make the skeleton that says, here's what
Right.
we wanna be.
But the
They're-
end goal is to-
Ultimately, they're gonna come back with a recommendation that says,
We
we
need
need
a
to have
person.
this position created.
Okay.
But at that
That's
point,
fine.
you've got buy-in from all the
And that's where we
stakeholders.
need to go
And
first,
that's
is
where
the
we
buy-in
need-
from the existing committees first.
I have a conflict for, can you cover that?
You know,
Right,
I'll
so-
take that.
So we need, so
I'm going to transportation firms.
where we're at now is to authorize the formation of a committee to start investigating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
step one.
Great.
We're going, we have a conflict. I can probably come for a short period of time. I don't know if we're needed at the Tasseltop meeting upcoming, but there's a transportation forum with Age Friendly,
I don't think there's gonna be an issue with Tasseltop.
so I don't need to be there. And she's going as well, I just found out.
I'm going to the transportation. Somebody called me today to ask me if I would be there for that meeting.
Need a
And,
ride?
as a board, huh?
You need a ride?
She's
I'm
got
glad
her,
we're all sitting in between us.
she's got her broom.
Okay,
Ah.
okay, so,
Sorry, I had
Um,
to.
so
So-
are we in agreement?
So again, I'm not expecting you guys to just, I'm looking to, this is where I'm going to go and I'm gonna stay after it until
Right.
we
Yeah,
get
and I
some.
think it's
And
very
where-
appropriate to
Yeah.
invite everybody
Yeah.
that's existing. Hey, what do we wanna do?
Yeah,
Okay? Give Tasseltop a fair opportunity to come up with, you know, their,
we have a lot of, to me, it's like a big piece of a big puzzle, and we've
Yeah.
got a lot of loose pieces that need to be kind of,
Do we need a motion?
And it should, in the
I don't
very
think we
short
do.
term of it, as people are getting involved in it, then you really need to pull together a list, pull
Right.
together an SOP to say, this is what is going on, is there any more? 'Cause you might find that one person, especially if it's a volunteer, can't handle it.
well, but if,
They need
if you.
more than one.
Well, right, but if you have
Maybe.
one person, and
Great
then,
idea.
then they're breaking it down per individual groups, you're breaking it down per the, somebody as far as the beach goes, you know what I mean?
But we're not at that point yet.
Right.
No,
We're at the,
No,
we're at
right.
the point now of, okay, let's.
Of discussion.
Right. The tasking right now is for Don and Teresa to work on pulling together
Okay,
this
let's
committee
go
to
ahead
start
with
the
it.
investigation, which will then ultimately report back to the select board.
But you realize we're not making any decisions, we're just throwing some ideas back and forth.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So we're talking this out more of what people want to
Yes.
see.
So we're gonna-
So I don't want you thinking that just because we're talking about this, that this is what we're planning. He's throwing out ideas
I
that we probably
understand
won't
that,
see
but,
Lonnie
you know,
and
those
Marcia- yes.
ideas want to come into that committee that you're.
Well, we know that, so that's why I'm glad that we're hearing this stuff, that we can fence it into this group.
Let's
Yes.
go slow and make sure. That's
No,
all I'm
right,
saying.
and we're agreed with it, but it's good to talk it out now too.
So we'll be coming back
Yes, it
at
is.
some future meeting after we've had a chance to meet with some of these groups.
Meeting tomorrow night, decision the following night, okay?
So we'll be coming
Yeah,
back
okay.
at some future meeting over the
No.
winter, no,
With updates on where you are.
with updates periodically on what's happening, because this is a lot of groups.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
You don't like my drawing,
No,
seriously?
I like it, it's a lot of groups to
Yeah.
meet with quickly.
No, I
It's
know,
not
no,
gonna
I
happen
know.
quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
Next item.
because if we do something, we want to have it correct. when we do it.
Exactly.
And, you know,
I get it.
because, you know,
I do
it's gonna
things
die
right.
on the vine if you
Go too fast,
if
yeah.
you put it in and it blows up in its face.
But we're not, and
I understand
I
that, but
want
all
you
I'm
guys to
saying is,
realize
you know,
that,
we
this
just-
is, this is what I'm looking for, because again, this is a bunch of individual pieces
We're
that,
talking.
I don't want them fading. I want the ski program to build back up, I want the rec programs to build
You've
back up.
already sold us.
Good,
Yes.
all right.
You're doing a great job.
And I'm going
We're great.
slow.
We're very happy you're on it. And on.
Okay,
Moving right along.
Good.
consideration of MMA annual business meeting voting
Oh,
delegate.
sorry.
Don,
So we have the voting delegate credentials. We know for sure that our town clerk, Sue Look, is going to attend part, if not all, of the MMA convention. I may go up, so what we've decided is that Sue would be our principal delegate for voting purposes. I would be the alternate, so it needs your signature or your delegation. But I guess since we have it here, we might as well go with your signature with Sue Look as voting delegate and myself as alternate. Now this is, don't worry, there's nothing we're going to do here that's going to be contrary to what MMA wants to do, because you're going to vote on their slate of officers, their ballot, I'm joking, but it's a pretty much a set deal.
So moved.
Second.
There's
all in
one
favor?
thing you can vote for
Okay.
all the way through. I think.
Okay.
RSU 14 Withdrawal Committee update. The committee has now resubmitted has submitted a counter proposal to the counter proposal that came from the RSU. So they've only had it for about a week or so. So once we get some feedback from there on that, we'll see where we are on the separation agreement. But the subcommittees have started to meet. The budget, the committee that's pulling together the draft budget, which is headed up by Marshall, has had a few meetings on that. They've got some things in process on that. Teresa has had some meetings with the One Raymond concept on that, moving that along. The committee on programs and whatnot has not met yet, so we're hoping that they'll start meeting fairly soon, so they can get look at the programs that we would want to offer, any improvements that we can do and things like that. So hopefully they'll be meeting on that fairly shortly.
Do you know who's members of each group, by the way? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, it's on the website.
Yeah.
Of each, how many people are in the programs?
3.
No, there's
3.
3.
It's on your website, 3.
I didn't look.
That's what I'm telling you.
I'm just
right.
saying that's a lot of work for 3 people at this late game.
Oh, and
Well, not
we're
really.
always looking for.
I know.
Mr. Chairman, the names that are out there are the people that I know of that are on those committees. Whether others have joined or been asked to join, I have no idea. The chairs haven't been.
I don't think there's been any activity in that area.
Have them send the documents back.
Public comment?
Sue, you're up. Okay, Wendy, you're up. Okay.
Selectman comment? Anyone?
I have one. If you're an elected official, please use respect towards other people and act professionally. That's all I want to say.
Hey, town manager's report.
Okay, so before I get into the meeting dates, I had a request from Cumberland County Sheriff Kevin Joyce and Captain Scott Stewart about the Halloween celebration that we have annually. Of course, the Sheriff's Department is a cooperating entity with the town, Public Safety Department and Public Works on that event. And so the sheriff has a great concern over, that even the one-way traffic that we've maintained in the last several years. And he strongly recommends, and at the staff level, I guess we've decided, unless you feel this is something that's not appropriate for the town, but we feel that the sheriff's recommendation is appropriate, and in view of events, which God forbid we have any event of any kind of terrible sort of event as has happened other places, but he feels that the opportunity for an accident to happen or other kind of problem to happen with that large amount of families, young people congregated in that area. So his recommendation is that we close Main Street, portion of Main Street, for the 2.5, 3 hour period of the Halloween party, and that we go door to door as 2 agencies and with handbills and explain why we're doing it, explain emergency procedures and how if you had need to leave, how you could do that, and alternate routes and so forth. But anyway, that's what we want to do is close that down for the Halloween celebration and promote a happy family community event that will be as safe as we possibly can make it. So I wanted to let you know that.
Is this a town function?
You can
Yes,
no.
I guess you could say yes,
This
because
is a neighborhood function.
it's a Raymond
It's really
Village
a town
library.
function.
It's a tradition.
It's a tradition. It's public safety has been in it from the beginning. So is the town the sponsor of it? No, it's something that's come
But we
about
help.
organically.
It's just kind of evolved.
It's kind of evolved, and it's a library, it's the church, it's the people who live there.
But I mean, there'll be between 600 and 700 kids that
That's,
comes
that's a
through.
great idea. I just
Wow.
wondered, it was
So I mean, it's, you know, and.
Is there help needed?
got a good match.
They have donations for
Yeah.
candy for
I think,
people.
I think the
Sam does.
He
library,
doesn't
I
need
think the
one.
library was taking donations and then they get candy and then they.
Is the
go and hand it
library's
out to
taking
some of the-
donations?
Some of the
Houses.
house, because I mean, you know, candy now, you know, what used to be a $2 bag is now a $12 bag. And if you're gonna have 700 kids come through and they all want something. you know. But, I mean, it's, you know, it,
So if we were to
Yeah.
donate, we would go online to donate
Nope.
to the library for this, or who would we get in contact? If we
Drop
wanted-
candy off at the library.
Just drop
No,
it
I
off at
think,
the
I think
library.
you could, I guess you could do that, package candy, but they probably have a better idea of what they need.
yeah.
So money.
So money at the library would be what I would suggest. And then what happens is you have the families there. I mean, I remember when my son was young,
Talk about this
we
after
went
the meeting.
several years in a row, and the families along the route there, very many of them put a lot of effort into decorating and putting together, you know, pretty elaborate
Yeah,
Yeah.
shows, if you will.
right.
So it's really quite something.
That's cool.
If you're coming from an area that's not directly adjacent to Main Street, where do you park?
There's a couple places you can park behind with the dog place where it's the old phone company. They park.
Mill Street?
No, they don't let them park in the street.
This will be,
No, Mill Street, Mill Street.
Mill Street.
this
You
will,
could
this
park
will,
down
Mill
there.
Street, but this will be part of the logistics and planning.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen people on Mill Street parking.
Well, they
Because
have,
of the
because,
people-
because what was
They
happening
can't.
is they were parking one of the, at the ends, you know, and things like that, so, you know, there's spots that, you know, but it's gotta get looked at, and, you know, there'll have to be some signage to direct people where to park and
They're
things.
If you
pretty
close out Main Street, then you close it off the parking, so now you got 302.
Yeah, but there's never been parking on Main Street during this. The only bad thing is when you get those great big Mack trucks coming through there, and you got all those trick-or-treaters. It's crazy.
Right, that's what we want to
Holy
avoid.
God.
But, yeah, I mean, the suggestion I made to Don too is that, you know, I'm not sure where you get one of those, you know, electric signs.
Well,
for-
we actually, Ralph, we
Yeah, one.
actually bought one, and a better one. We had the original one, which we used for various events for a few years. So we still have that in semi-operational condition, but we have one in operational condition. And because we're partnering so closely with Naples, they bought one, so we can borrow Naples. So we have access to 2 municipally owned ones, and I think the sheriff owns one too.
Yeah. Because if we can let, you know, have those out a few days in advance, so the people that are traveling 302 know that on that date, you know, Mill Street's gonna be shut down for 3 hours, that gets rid of a lot of problems.
Yeah, but everybody knows that. That's the crazy thing.
Well,
when
yeah,
it's-
but it's a change from last year when you had one lane that was open.
When we have,
What they're talking is shutting it down completely.
well, what we're proposing here is what we did a number of years ago with the Ice Derby event, was we went from something that had sort of been just organically developing to something that's actually thought out, managed, and has a plan. And so I think the sheriff's right on the money with this. He's done this in Naples. They closed down Naples for some of their events, 302, which was controversial. But it's the right thing to do for some of these
It
events.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
And this isn't closing 302, this is inconvenience, but it's not closing 302.
No.
Which, by the way, we did a couple of times for the Ice Derby for safety, when it was big.
But if we
Okay.
can make it safer for the kids there, all the better.
So on to, we have the dates, if we're done with that one, we have the dates for the upcoming regular meetings, October 8th and November 12th. Are those good? Upcoming holiday schedule, Monday, October 14th, Columbus Day. And I just want to say what a great job, if you haven't gone and seen the work on the Gore Road, which we talked about last meeting, and down at Canal Road, Salmon Run, take a look and see what the Public Works Department's doing. They've been very busy in getting stuff done, and so, but Gore Road,
I walked up there last
What
night.
do you think?
I took a walk up. It's a whole different road.
Holden World.
They've got a big culvert, they've got the trees down, you can actually see down it. I mean, there was one little pothole, but nothing, the big trees that are just hanging on the side of the road are gone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know if Nathan would agree with me on this one, but I would say, you know, we've got our equipment, you know, we did get through a cooperative deal with the Boy Scouts, we were able to get a former military office trailer that had some bathroom facilities. Today, we had a well driller in putting in a well. No, we're not gonna drink the water, Jason. We don't think there's any problem, but we're not gonna use it for anything but, you know, lavatories. But, so anyway, so the well, the trailer, the equipment, all we need now, Nathan, is snow for you to plow. and I understand. So so it's up to you, Nathan, if you're watching, but.
He's not.
But we were talking today, we were out riding around looking at some of the projects, and I said, boy, we've come so far with the equipment and our capabilities, and so this year will be the test with taking over winter operations, but now they have a place to get in out of the weather, where they can, have a bathroom facility, where they can have a place to sit down, have a lunch down at the Plains Road. So if you haven't been down to see that and take a look at our equipment, well, you see the equipment out in front of the garage. I think we're well equipped and ready to go, and so we're gonna make a big success of that, and so thanks to
That
everybody.
That attachment, I'm not sure what it is, but it's kind of like a bush hog arm or something. That works really good, huh?
Yeah.
It seems to.
And so
Cleans up
interestingly,
nice.
Interestingly, this is a place where a lot of times we're kind of behind the curve, but I was in Scarborough the other day, and I was behind one of those exact machines, and
Yep.
and it turns out they did the exact same thing we did. They bought a rental from Howard Fairfield, and so I mean that's the thing. That's what towns are using now. And what Nathan's been able to do with that machine is to lease it out to Naples and to New Gloucester, so it's become it'll be a revenue source in, and
Nice.
so we're really working extra diligently on cooperative ventures with our neighboring towns to our mutual benefit, and so we're doing a lot of personnel sharing with Naples and equipment sharing with some of our neighboring towns, with Wyndham, with Gray, with New Gloucester.
Good job, Don.
Yeah, so it's a good thing.
Really good.
Yep, good job, sir.
That's all I have.
That's all? Okay.
Yeah.
Treasurer's warrant.
Okay, motion to accept treasurer's warrant in the amount of $133,767.30.
So, second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is
Can I have all
carried.
those papers down there, please?
Those papers.
If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
You have it. Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Got all his papers for
All
Sue?
those in favor?
Everything.
Meeting adjourned.